Morning students. For 10th standard we continue with the chapter on endocrine system, and in the last class, if you remember, that we had started telling about the thyroid gland. Now you can see here, just see the location. I was telling the location of the thyroid gland is just above the larynx, and you can see that this is a H-shaped gland. Okay, and this is the magnified gland. You can see this is the giant thyroid gland, which is the largest endocrine gland. Now this gland has a very important function in our body. If you see the TS of the thyroid gland, it looks like this, that there is a basement membrane and there are certain this type of cells, epithelial cells lining what we call the epithelium of the follicle. These cells are called the follicular cells, and these epithelial cells secrete a hormone which is called thyroglobulin. Now this hormone thyroglobulin is a gelatinous mass, and it contains about 100 days in this, and from this thyroglobulin, three types of hormones are manufactured. One is called T3 and T4, commonly called the thyroxine, and there is another hormone which is called the thyrocalcitonin. Now thyroxine, or usually as I told you, that it is mainly T3 and T4. It is called triiodothyronine and tetraiodothyronine. You can understand from the name that 3 iodines are required in the earlier one, and 4 iodines are required in the later thyroxine. Now this thyroxine, thyrocalcitonin as such, it is not there in your course. No need of studying that particular thing, but thyroxine, you have to know that thyroxine is a hormone which is an amine hormone, and this thyroxine helps in giving sexual maturity, physical maturity and mental maturity. 3 things are required, and deficiency of iodine can lead to lack of thyroxine in the body, and person can suffer from hypothyroidism. Now this, as I told you, this is controlled by an axis which I already explained, that the hypothalamus, the pituitary and the thyroid gland. So if the hypothalamus secretes the TRH, and TRH promotes the secretion of TSH, and it stimulates the thyroid gland to secrete thyroxine, which acts in the organs. Now if it is more, then it can say that it can give a message to the pituitary or the hypothalamus to reduce the TRH and the TSH. So this type of mechanism, as I told you, it's also called the negative feedback mechanism, which is there to control the secretion of the thyroxine. Now the thyroxine hormone, usually it helps in the growth, development and metamorphosis. It has been seen that if iodine is placed in a tray containing tadpoles, and it will see that the tadpoles lose their tail faster and the metamorphosis takes faster because of the formation of more thyroxine. And it also, like for example, it helps in the growth, the mental development, the development of the tissues and the mental faculty. Then it also affects the general metabolism, like the usage of the glucose. You must be knowing that it controls the BMR, or we call the basal metabolic rate. How better utilization of the glucose takes place. This is done by the help of the hormones thyroxine. So it helps in carbohydrate, fat and protein metabolism and gives energy. So reduced thyroxine can cause lethargy, and it can cause puffiness in the skin, certain types of disorders which we will study later on. And on individual system, like it can affect the central nervous system, it can affect the cardiovascular system and also the digestive system. Now the 3 types of disorders in the thyroid imbalances, one is called the hyposecretion of thyroxine, and that can lead to cretinism. Cretinism is short stunted height. This is due to lack of thyroxine in young people. From childhood, if it is found less, then this type of cretinism occurs. It differs from pituitary dwarfism. It's not like that. Like in pituitary dwarfism, the elongation of the long bones does not occur. Here it is not like that. but they are stunted, pot-bellied and mentally idiot with no maturation of the external genitalia. skin is rough and the BMR is low. Then another disease is there which is caused due to lack of thyroxine in old age in people, that is called mixed edema. Here there's a puffiness in the skin, they suffer from bradycardia and slow heartbeat and feeling cold, and menstrual cycle is abnormal in women. Usually lack of alertness, and their mental faculties are less. Now the third is simple goiter, what we call the iodine deficiency goiter. This occurs due to lack of iodine. So it occurs among people, those who do not take seafood or sea salt. That's because iodine is the main source of iodine is from the sea water. So in some cases it is seen that people, those who are habituated of taking rock salts and in the hills and all, they suffer from this simple goiter, where there is an elongation of the thyroid gland, because the thyroid gland is induced to secrete more thyroxine, which it cannot do it, and it enlarges in size, and that type of growth is taking place in the neck region of the thyroid gland region. And hyperactivity, that means if thyroxine is secreted more, then it leads to hyperthyroidism, and that leads to exophthalmic goiter, where the eyes are protruded. You can see here, this is the exophthalmic goiter, where you can see there are protruded eyes. Also there is a swelling in the neck, and this is mixed edema. You can see the puffiness in the skin, the swelling in the neck. So mixed edema, this is simple goiter, and this is mixed edema, the puffiness in the skin, and there is a swelling in the neck. So these two are due to lack of thyroxine, due to hyposecretion of thyroxine, and this is exophthalmic goiter, or called Graves' disease. This is called Gall's disease, and this is called Graves' disease. So sometimes you are asked to identify pictorially, means from the picture, the type of diseases. So you must be acquainted with seeing certain pictures of exophthalmic goiter or Graves' disease or Gall's disease, that is called mixed edema, and of course simple goiter also. So that is important, that how to identify from the picture, because sometimes picture based questions are asked on this. Now next we go to the pancreas gland. Pancreas is an exocrine gland as well as an endocrine gland. It is located just near the duodenum, under the stomach region, but on the right, just opposite to the stomach, and it is connected to the duodenum. And this pancreatic, you can see the pancreas gland. You see the histology of the pancreas. It is made up of this type of cell. This is the pancreatic follicular cells, and this or pancreatic acinus, which secrete the pancreatic juices, which is your exocrine function. But here in the middle you can see there is a type of cell which looks like an island. This is known as the islets of Langerhans, and here you find four types of cell: the alpha cell, the beta cell. The alpha cell is this one, the beta cells, the delta cells, and this is the beta cells, and there is a third type of cell which is called PP cell. The alpha cells, they secrete a hormone which is called glucagon. Beta cells secrete a hormone which is called insulin. Delta cells secrete a hormone which is called somatostatin, and the PP cells secrete pancreatic polypeptide. Out of this you have to study only two, the function of the glucagon and the insulin. So glucagon, what it does, it helps in increasing the blood sugar level if the sugar is less in the blood, so by causing the breakdown of glycogen and conversion of glycogen to glucose. But insulin does the reverse thing. It helps in conversion of your excess glucose to glycogen and stored in the liver. So this is the main two function of the glucagon and the insulin. And insulin is, you know that it is a polypeptide hormone made up of two types of chain, the two alpha chains and two beta chains, and about 6,000 Dalton, and the amino acid is there are two amino acid chains, the alpha and the beta chains, which are bridged by the disulfide bridges. And insulin also, beside helping metabolism of sugar, it also does help in metabolism of fats and proteins and better utilization of glucose. And glucagon just do the reverse thing. So these two hormones are also known as the antagonistic hormones. So insulin is reduce the blood sugar level, and glucagon increases the blood sugar level. Insulin, controls. If the insulin is there, lack of insulin is there, it leads to a disorder which is called diabetes mellitus. And diabetes mellitus, as you know, there are two types, the type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes, and we are going to discuss about this in details in the next class. Till then, thank you very much for giving a listening. Go through the lesson, and if you have any question, you can put up the question. Thank you very much and have a nice day.